Welcome back, everybody, to Paranormal the New Normal presents Paranormal Primetime. We are back, Malachi and myself, once again to discuss two more episodes of everybody's favorite paranormal show, Supernatural. And yeah, we got a decent week this week in episode wise. Season 4 is not letting me down so far. So, and I don't think it's going to. I think it's honestly one of the best seasons if I remember right. So,
Yeah, I
but
think so. I think I was getting 3 confused with 4 because I think 4 is just like a banger.
it's a banger. Yeah, it really is. It's. I mean, we'll see if it lasts. There's got to be a bad episode somewhere. There's got to be, but that's the way it goes with every show. But let's see if it lasts, and I'll let Malachi start us off with his episode. You lucky bastard.
Okay, so like Jeremy was alluding to last week, I've got season 4, episode 3 in the beginning, and this is kind of Back to the Future-esque type of a theme here. It was
Oh,
written by Jeremy Carver. Huh?
it's a straight up ass kissing of Back to the Future. Who are you kidding? It's straight up an ass kissing of Back to the Future with supernatural elements thrown into it.
I think we've seen Jeremy Carver
It's,
involved before.
he's a big
Not
name.
as often,
Yeah,
but
he's a big name, so I'm sure he'll be doing plenty in the future.
directed by Steve Boyum, which I don't think I've heard, but I mean this seemed directed pretty well, so it might be a name to look for in the future. Um, so we start off with Bad Sammy Boy sneaking out to go meet Ruby, and Dean wakes up and Cassie he's having a nightmare about his time in hell. And he wakes up and Castiel's just sort of sitting there like a goofball, looking around in his little trench coat. And Castiel basically touches Dean on the forehead. And then Dean immediately wakes up on a park bench with the cops saying, "You can't sleep here." And Dean's just waking up, like, can't sleep where? He thinks he's in his hotel room, right? So he stumbles into this diner. He's trying to get cell phone signal, but the cell phone doesn't work. He stumbles into this diner, and he meets this brown-haired guy sitting next to him. They're making small talk, whatever, whatever. Um, Hold on, let me get up here. Cop. I gotta get to the notes here. So as they're sitting there, I don't remember what the hell Dean. Oh, he's the fucking guy taking the orders comes up and he's dressed all fucking goofy looking. And he's like, "Hey, Sonny and Cher broke up," and both the guy he's sitting next to and the cashier server guys like, "Sonny and Cher broke up? What?"
That was hilarious.
So he keeps going through little things like this. He's talking to the dude his age, similar kind of look, and he finally finds out this guy John sitting across from him tells him that he's in Lawrence, Kansas, and he's like, "What the fuck am I doing in Lawrence, Kansas?" And then he sees a newspaper, and it's 1973.
Well,
So then,
first he sees the headline that says Nixon, and he's like, "What?"
yeah, like recap. But so then some guy in the back calls for Winchester, and both the guy Dean's sitting next to and Dean both look. And then that dude walks up there and he finds out it's John Winchester when
Which is
John Winchester was Dean's age.
a straight Back to the Future reference.
Yeah, that's even with the mom and the hots and
there are I think there are 6 Back to the Future references in this episode, like direct references in this episode. Which actually you didn't mention it because you probably didn't realize even, but the billboard for Tab Soda on the bench he was sleeping on
I
is
saw that.
that's the first thing that's what Marty tries to order when he gets to the diner in Back to the Future.
Okay, yeah, my wife
like,
just watched it. I didn't pay much attention.
And they're like, and when he orders it, they're like, "Tab, what's tab?" Because
The
it's the
50s.
50s. Yeah, so tab doesn't exist yet. But
That's
and
funny.
I think they screwed up that scene though. It would have been hilarious if they did like the Zack Back to the Future scene where like somebody wanting to fight John Winchester, but he can't fight for shit. So like Dean hops in and knocks them all out.
Well, it's kind of similar in the regard of the fight because John Winchester is talking about he just got back from Vietnam, and the
Yeah,
guy's asking about him, so he was over in Vietnam fighting. But so Dean finally just figures out what the fuck's going on, right? Like he's back in the future somehow. This has never happened. They're used to hunting vampires. So kind of following his father when he gets outside, and then he runs into Castiel again. And Dean's like, "What the fuck? Am I dreaming? Like, what is this? An illusion? What are you doing?" And Castiel says, "No, you're back here, and you need to stop it." And Dean, "Stop what? This is the second time Castiel's told him to stop something, and he has no idea what the fuck to stop." So Dean ends up following John to the parking lot where John is about to buy a fucking Volkswagen bus, which I would love to have one right now too. But Dean convinces him to buy Baby and says, "Hey, this car is still going to be kick ass in 40 years, dude. This is the one you got to buy." But my girlfriend, aka Dean's mom, wants him to buy a Volkswagen bus. Dean talks him into buying Baby. So we get through all that. Oh, Dean introduced himself as Dean Van Halen. I guess that's kind of a little spot. But when he's in the car lot with John before he buys the car, he's asking him like, "So have you smelled any sulfur? Hey, I was pretty hungover in there. Were there any cold spots?" Like all these crazy hunter questions. And John just thinks this dude's a fucking nut job. So after John buys the car, Dean's follows him to his girlfriend's house, where he finds out that this is Dean's mother, and he says, "Sammy, Mom is a hottie. I'm going to hell again for this." That one was pretty funny.
yeah,
So it's
that
like
was
the
funny.
opposite of the Back to the Future. Like instead of the girl having the hots for Dean, Dean had the hots for his
Yeah.
mom, which is even fucking worse.
Well, I mean, she kind of likes him a little bit too at some points. But I don't know if it's because she's seeing like something in him that she doesn't know what it is, or if she actually has interest. It would have been funny. It would have been funnier once again if they had the whole like him watching her from a tree and like falls out the tree type of thing. Like if they did like that
Yeah,
like future rap, that would have been hilarious. But
they do get better music rights right now, but I think you're getting into the territory of straight up lawyers involved.
I
So,
know, probably, yeah.
um, so Dean continues to follow Mary and John, and Mary, when they get to this place where they're hanging out, Mary excuses herself, and John's checking for the proposal ring. He's about to propose to her. But then Mary sneaks up on Dean and says, "Why are you following me?" And then Dean and his mom get into some crazy ninja graphic fist fight thing happening. And Dean finally manages to, get her pinned. And he sees that she's wearing this charm bracelet with all of this like hunter symbology. And he's like, "Mom was a hunter?" So, he tells him that he's a hunter too, and Dean goes with Mary home, and this is where he meets his grandfather, Samuel. And then we're gonna get to a funny part. Uh, the whole family, Mary's whole family is hunters. The mom, the dad, her, and Samuel immediately says, "So you're a hunter? How do you kill a vampire? The silver bullet or a stake through the heart?" And Dean passes the test. "Nah, you decapitate the little sons of bitches." And Sam starts asking about like, "What are you guys hunting?" And Well, do you need any help? We don't work with other hunters. I don't work with other hunters. But Dean finds out that Mary's mother name, his grandmother's name, is Deanna. So Dean was named after the woman, and Sam was named after the man. I thought that was a funny scene.
I didn't even catch that, honestly. I didn't think of that even. I mean, I was watching them at 5:30 this morning, so that's why. But I didn't. I don't think I took my first sip of coffee at that point. But I didn't even think of that. Like,
I was at work, like, and I was at the perfect point where I was like building bikes, and the thing was right in front of my face. So you get to see like Dean makes this snarky little like fuck. I'm named after a girl face. It was pretty funny. But so Grandpa Samuel tells him the case they're working on at this farmer's mysterious death. He said the name. I can't see the name here. I didn't get to take my notes today. I got called into work, but it was some farm. And Dean says, "Hey, I know that name."
Whitshire, Tom Whitshire.
Woodshire Farm. So this is where he offers the help, and Samuel's like, "Hey, we work alone." And so then we cut to, like they're going their separate ways, and Samuel and Mary, Dean's mom, are driving dressed as priests and nuns. And Samuel's like, "Would you rather be holding pom poms?" Blah blah blah. Because Mary's bitching, teenage girl, doesn't want to go on a hunting trip with her father. And when they show up, Dean's there. So Samuel's going to the front door to act like a priest.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I thought you were going to say something.
You're about to say what I was going to say, so I'll let you do it. Sure, episode.
Yeah, so, and fucking Dean's already questioned as the priest guy. So Mary had walked off to go talk to the kid. And when Samuel asks the wife again, "Is there anything weird about your husband's death besides his guts being all over the back nine?" So Dean leaves Samuel with that and then goes and talks with Mary. And we find out that this kid had talked to a preacher that looked similar to them that had come and basically made a deal with him, right? Like this kid's dad used to get drunk and beat his mom. So the kid said, "Hey, if can you help me?" or whatever the fuck. He made a deal with the demon. It was a demon. We find out the demon had yellow eyes, though. So we know that this kid didn't have to do anything, and in 10 years he would come back and ask for something. And then this gets Dean all up like, "Oh shit, I know where this is. This is in my dad's journal. This is like all the yellow-eyed events that happened before Sam and my mom died and everything. This is Yellow-Eyed Demon, right? What was his name? Owl?
Azazel.
Azazel. Okay.
He's a fucking prince of hell, dude.
Yeah, I got things to do here. Come on now. Let me get back up in my notes here. Oh, that's impersonating a priest. Okay, so they get back to Mary and Samuel's house, and Dean had just found out that this is Azazel, and he's talking about how we have to go to this farm in Colorado where the cult is. And Samuel's like, "Yeah, I know about the cult. I used to tell it to Mary as a bedtime story." And Dean's like, "I'm reassuring you this is true." And Samuel's like, "How the fuck do you know all this? How'd you know about that farm? That happened 2 days before you even got here. My dad was a future teller or future reader or whatever the fuck."
Psychic.
Psychic. So, yeah, Dean's just like fucking heading out to go get the cult to try to kill Azazel. And then we get to, but Mary learns that her son made a deal with a stranger praying. Okay, so at that time, what happened after that? That I remembered Mary was talking to her dad. Okay, so cut to Dean visits Mary before he leaves and tells her that he approves of the relationship with John. Yeah, that's right. Dean got back in there and he's trying to like coach his mom on like, yeah, you need to marry this guy. My life depends on it. So then I think we go to driving the Impala to get the Colt. That's when Castiel appears and irritated as always with
You,
Angel's stony
uh,
demeanor.
you skipped a very important part in the episode.
Okay, fill me in. I'm lost on my notes here.
When he talks to Mary about John afterwards, he begs her
Mm,
not to get out of bed on
I'll find
that
the
night
date.
upon the date of 83 when Azazel comes to visit Sam.
Yeah, it in these notes it only says 1983 too. It doesn't say the
Yeah,
exact, but in the show it gives you like the exact date and time and shit.
I think it was like September 2nd or something like that. It was the date the first episode. It was actually the date the first episode premiered, but it was just the year was different.
Okay. Well, so Castiel shows up in the car while Dean's driving, and Dean's like, "Why the fuck didn't you bring Sam? Sam would have loved to get in on this action." And this is where Castiel gets a little like, "Are you sure your brother would want to do this with us?" And kind of, I got just the feeling that like Castiel was hinting around to like, your brother's out doing bad shit, motherfucker. He's like, we'll get to that at the end of the story, but like he's kind of telling Dean like, this isn't what you think it is. So then we cut to Dean. He's stealing the Colt from Daniel Elkins. I remember that name, and I got Colorado right. And okay, and then we cut back to Samuel and Mary talking like, well, where's Dean going next? And Samuel's like, some farm out there, yada yada yada. And Mary says, in this town? And he's like, yeah, that's the one. With this person? Dad, that's my friend. We gotta go save them. So do. Yeah, this is where I'm mixing it all. Yellow-eyed demon who's been possessing. I thought this happened different. I thought. Okay, so I guess these notes skipped over the whole like Dean stealing the Colt and saying, "Hey,
Yeah,
I need to take this. It'll be with the whatever the fuck their last name is. Shoot me if you're gonna shoot me." Bullshit.
he stands up to Daniel Elkins and is just like, he basically like it's almost crying, saying like, I need to save my family this time. I'm taking this. If you know these hunters in Kansas, no, well,
Yeah.
that's where we'll be. Go come get it in 2 days.
Yeah, so I normally I do the notes. I didn't have time this week, but that skipped over this whole part. So now we're back to her friend. Her dad has some sort of cancer shit, can't save him, and then we find out that the doctor is actually the yellow-eyed demon and makes her this deal, the same deal the kid got offered. Well, I can save your dad. I'm just going to need something from you in 10 years. You're not going to miss it. Just trust me, and I can make all this shit go away. And, but soon overpowers. I know Mary and Samuel rush in, and then there's like a fight, and, yeah, this is given like
Yeah,
horrible notes.
he Daniel rushes in with Mary and he shoots the demon with the shotgun a couple times, and Mary comes in, but she's overpowered and thrown across the room. The demon takes a shine to her, like Yellow Eyes like sees her and like all of a sudden it's like really wants to deal with her as well. Anyway, and
then Dean comes in, and he's got the deadly Colt, and he takes a shot and fucking misses, and Yellow Eyes just pumps out of the guy's mouth immediately. So now we're back, and Samuel and Dean are having a heart-to-heart, and he's like, "Hey, listen, I know this is gonna sound crazy, but your daughter's my mom. I'm from the future. You know, we got to make sure Mary's safe." And Samuel's like, "Yeah. Just can I see that gun for a second? Can you hand that over this way?" Sam's like, "Absolutely not." And then, the yellow-eyed demon possessed Samuel. They get into this back and forth, and the mom, Deanna, is kind of like watching in the background, and Dean, Yellow Eyes are going back and forth about, "Why would you do this to my brother? What's your overall plan?" "I wouldn't tell you my overall plan, but the only thing I know is you're never getting your grandpappy back." And then he stabs himself in the fucking heart. And doesn't the grandmother get it a little too? Grandpa Samuel. He'll die once the body is empty. He also snaps Deanna's neck. Okay. I was kind of listening to that part. So then we got John and Mary hooking up. And in the Impala, kind of weird Dean wants that so there's probably mom and dad juices all over that freaking Impala. Ugh.
And John and other girl juices from all the times that John had it after she died.
So now we cut to Samuel, aka Yellow Eyes, yanking the daughter out of the car, and then he snaps John Winchester's neck. And now he's making a deal with Mary, right? So Mary's got this same fucking deal. And the smoke escapes again, leaving Samuel dead. So Mary's parents are dead, but John quickly springs back to life, at which point Castiel appears to bring Dean back to the present. And Dean's like, what was that? I couldn't stop it. Blah, blah, blah. And Castiel's like, "Yeah, dumbass. You were never going to stop that. We just need to show you what we know. This is all we know. We don't know what fucking Azazel's plans are. But now you know what we're dealing with." And that's when Castiel goes and tells Dean that, like, "Hey, your brother's being a fuck up. He's off partying with demons. And if you don't fix it, we're going to fix it. Fix that shit." End of scene.
Well, no, it ends. Oh yeah, it does end the next episode. Right.
Yeah. Next week I'll have notes. That was a rough one, fellas.
You're telling us, but it's the first episode, and it's actually the first episode where Sam has limited screen time. It doesn't happen again for another until next season. But
wait, he get a break? Didn't he break his arm a couple seasons ago? Doesn't he get?
That was last season, yeah.
Why did he get just a break time or something?
Just for story. But yeah, and the fact that it ends in a to be continued scene is from Back to the Future.
I don't remember that either. From Back to the Future. One of my favorites.
It's more classic.
I would give that a 4. A lot of storyline. Pretty solid.
I'd give it a 4.5. I think it's one of the best episodes. it's great. I mean, it's basically what the spinoff, the Winchesters, was supposed to be. Like them, a young Winchester family, like a young Mary's family, like hunting. But
So how does that happen though? Like this, so this is after Azazel snaps his neck.
well, no, he gets restored back to life, according to.
Yeah, I know he gets restored back to life, but like in the Winchesters, because I still have to watch the last one, but I watched all the others. It just doesn't.
I think it's after all this happened because it's called the Winchester, so I think it's when John and Mary are first married.
Yeah, it kind of just goes against this whole narrative because like John wasn't supposed to know about any of this shit until after Mary died. So like alternate timeline type shit.
No, you gotta imagine that he told her that she told him what her family did at some point.
But well, I forgot to mention though, she had that heart to heart with Dean where she just wanted to be normal and leave the whole hunting life behind.
Yeah,
so
that's the talk they have where Dean tells her that he approves of John, and then she says like he's a good guy. He's not like all these hunters out there.
He's a little sweetie Bo Beatty. I love him. And Dean's like, what? My dad? Abso-fucking-lutely not. He's an asshole.
And I love that. And I love that the grandfather and he returns in later episodes in the present. But I love that it's played by Mitch Pileggi, who was Skinner in X-Files.
I didn't know the X-Files either.
He's Mulder and Scully's boss in X-Files.
I've seen Samuel in a lot of other shit. He's always a B-rate actor, but yeah, he does pretty good. I thought he did really good in this episode when he was like possessed by the demon. He changed character pretty good.
Yeah, he did, and I like that when he walks into the diner, that rambling man's playing like a total 70s song.
They definitely got a lot more money for the music budget in season 4. I meant to mention that, like my last episode, they had some pretty big songs in the first episode.
So, folks, my episode this week, episode 4, is called Metamorphosis. It was written by Catherine Humphreys, which I think that's a new name, and directed by Kim Manners, who we all know Kim Manners. And the episode starts off kind of right where the last one left off, but except we're now seeing what Sam's been up to the whole time. We see Sam and Ruby holding a demon captive, and they start asking, they're trying to get information on where Lilith is, but the demon refuses, taunting that he's not afraid of the big Sam Winchester. And Sam uses his powers to exorcise the demon and send it to hell. The man who was possessed survives, and Sam cuts him loose and is trying to help him out of the building when who should pop out but Dean? And who was following Castiel's directions. Dean was looking from behind a wall and saw everything. He's shocked when he finds out that Ruby is actually one with Sam after Sam lied and said that he hadn't seen Ruby. And he tries to kill her. He tries to kill her with a knife, but she slams him into a wall, and Sam tells him to knock it off, and he tells Ruby to take the man to the hospital. And Sam is waiting in the hotel room when Dean storms in and starts packing his bags. Sam asks if he's leaving and grabs his arm as he heads towards the door. Dean responds by punching him in the face twice. Some nice swings to leave that lip bloody. And he's pissed off. Sam's been using his powers, but Sam tells him he's only been using it to save people, and after Dean died, he kept fighting the only way he could. Dean doesn't give a fuck and asks why an angel had to inform him to Sam being like, what? An angel? And Dean tells Sam that Castiel had warned him to stop Sam or he would. He tells Sam that this means God wants him to stop as well. And all of a sudden, Sam's phone starts ringing, so this all ends. And it's a hunter named Travis giving them information. And we see them in the car going to meet Travis. And Dean tells Sam about a trip back in time and what he learned about their parents. Dean's shocked to find out Sam has known that he was fed demon's blood as an infant and didn't tell him for over a year. And he's just more pissed off that there's been a list of things Sam hasn't told him about since he came back to life. And
what would you do? Like if a demon, or if you were in Sam's position and your brother came in and said, "Hey, if you don't take care of your brother, we will." I think I'd immediately stop.
Yeah, me too. An angel's threatening me? Yeah, I'll stop, please. But we see the boys in Carthage, Missouri. They observe Jack Montgomery, a normal guy, seemingly, and we see him looking through the fridge, something to eat, devouring chicken and everything else, and he comes across a package of raw ground beef that he consumes like he's a dying man who's about to die and eat something in the next second. So they go to their hotel room and they meet up with a guy. They walk into the hotel room. There's a guy sitting at the table. Travis, who Dean cleverly says, "I told you we should have hit all the beer." As Travis is sitting there downing bottles, and he's apparently known them since they were little kids. And he tells them that he killed Jack's father, who was a Rougarou in 1978. But he didn't know that Jack's mother was pregnant with him at the time, and that she later put him up for adoption. So, and which a Rougarou, I don't like the way they use that. They call this thing a Rougarou. It's not really a Rougarou. Rougarous are just a version of dogmen. It's not this. It's not this creature that is just humanoid. Like there's never been a Rougarou thing in real life where it's a humanoid creature. It's always more of a dogman creature.
Like a werewolf, right?
Yeah, like a dogman. But I don't know. It's weird.
I mean, he gets like crazy shit happening.
It's different. They're using that in the complete wrong term. But they go to talk to Jack because Travis tells them that he wants to kill him, and Sam gets on his case with like, why would you kill him? You don't know he's going to do this yet. He could resist and not take the bait and be human his whole life. Which, of course, Dean's like, it's a monster. We got to kill it. But they're on their way to go talk to Jack, and Dean tells Sam that Dean starts saying that Sam's over-identifying with Jack. And Sam tells Dean to stop the car. He tells Dean how hard it has been living with the knowledge that he's contaminated with demon blood and that he is trying to make the best of it. And that they'll try to talk to Jack, and they'll tell him of his and his real father's status as a Rougarou, as well as what will happen if he consumes human flesh, or, as Dean learns his new word today, long pig. But they start talking to the guy, and he doesn't believe a fucking word they're saying. And it basically breaks down to the point where he yells at them, leave his property or he's going to call the cops. Loud enough that neighbor looks over. So they leave because they don't like cops. And that night they trail him and they see him about to attack a woman, but he resists his urges and he heads home. Oh yeah, because isn't that what we see? Oh yeah. That's when we see him in a bar. He's drinking away his sorrows after he tried to get very rough sexy with his wife. And she pushed him away, saying, "What is wrong with you?" So we see him at a bar downing whiskey. And he sees a woman getting hit on by a fat guy who looks very much like Kevin James. I actually had to look up and be like, is that Kevin James? But I don't think it was. But he stops the fat guy from hitting on the chick and breaks the guy's hand in the process. Hand and arm, I think it was. But anyway, he leaves after resisting biting the guy. And he goes home because his wife's been asking where he is and everything. And Travis is there, having broken into the home, and he's holding his wife hostage, and he learns that that's when he learns that she is also pregnant, because Travis reveals that she was screaming, "I'm pregnant," when he broke in, so he wouldn't hurt her. So Travis overpowers Jack and ties him up, and he says, "I'm sorry I gotta do this, but I'm gonna burn you both alive. Sorry for your kid." That's still in utero. But Jack manages.
I think they'd have a vaccine for that, huh?
Yeah. Well, Jack breaks free and attacks Travis, and he kills him he starts biting his neck and killing him, and he completely finishes his transformation into a monster. And when Dean and Sam arrive, they find just nothing but a blood stain on the floor. And they say, "Is that Travis?" And Dean's like, "Well, what's left of him?" And they follow the blood trail and they find what the hell's the guy? What the hell is it? They find this. Oh, they find Jack. As he runs out and attacks them, he knocks both of them the fuck out. Sam wakes up locked in a closet and he's telling Jack to resist this urge as he tries to break out using a coat hanger rather than his powers. But Jack can't resist and he's about to eat Dean, and Sam escapes and incinerates him. Fire, fire, burn, burn, ashes. And we don't really see what happens to his wife. I assume she escapes, but
yep. Case for 20 years down the road.
Basically. But in the Apollo, Dean, in a gay meter of like 2, Dean apologizes to Sam for being hard on him, but Sam says that he doesn't want to talk about it anymore. He has made a choice, not for Dean or God, but for himself, to stop using his powers. After school special over.
Hey, I will say, if we're having a guest host, they have to put up with the gay meter. That stays.
We'll see how that goes. But this episode has a first. It's the first time that Dean calls Castiel Cass.
Ah. Yeah, I guess he's been calling him like fuckhead and shit, huh?
Not yet, but that comes. And Sam says he's going to give us powers, but we'll see if that actually happens.
Fingers crossed, people.
And actually, apparently this is the last episode in the series to be directed by Kim Manners.
Oh, damn. She was big so far.
She passed away.
Oh, shit. How old was she? I'll look that up.
58. I'm looking at it right in front of me. 58.
Huh.
But she died in January 2009. So, yeah, this season was 2009. So yeah, she died probably like right after the mid-break in this season. But
well, rest in peace, Kim Manners. We could have used you in like season 12 for sure.
And Carthage, Missouri will come up in a later episode in the next season. That is a very good episode. I will say that.
And we got a Halloween episode coming up, fellas. Stay tuned.
And it's funny that Travis tells him that Ruru is going to be taken down with fire, but he said he killed his father by shooting him with 8 bullets. But
maybe they were like big bullets and he shot his head off.
Maybe. I would give this one we'll say 3.2.
Yeah, I'll be there with you. Filler.
I wasn't highly impressed. But we have 2 good episodes that come up next week, I believe. Well, actually, yeah, one Monster of the Week and then one storyline episode. So we might have a guest next week, folks. I will work on that, but we might have a guest next week. So we'll see. You might see some other face on here besides ours talking about Supernatural for once. I know. It's about time. But any closing comments, Malachi, before we shut it off for tonight?
Everybody listen to Candace Owens this week.
And have a good night with that, everybody.